planning session. We are in the hands of some exceptional consultants that we have hired to guide us through this. A lot of you might be asking, why is the city embarking on establishing a 5-year strategic plan in the middle of a pandemic? I asked myself that very same question. Fortunately, our former city council members had the wisdom to make it a requirement for our city to have a 5-year strategic plan. And it is important for local government to have that plan. It keeps the council's priorities visible to everyone. It keeps staff moving in the right direction. And I'll have to say, going through this planning exercise with your executive managers that run your departments, that provide you services, with the input that was received by individual interviews with the city council members, I rethought it, and I thought, it's a good time for us to do this strategic plan. And, with the pandemic and with having to make so many changes quickly, I learned quite fast that, local government is established with a lot of antiquated processes and procedures. And when we had to move very nimble and flexible during this crisis that we're in right now, it actually opened up our eyes to areas where we really could be doing things different. We could be doing things that serve the population, the residents, and the businesses a lot better. So as odd of a time as it might seem, I think it is a very exciting exercise to go through. And part of a 5-year strategic plan is, I like to describe it as we're in a pasture and we want to set those fence posts. Staff can guide the organization, within those fence posts. Council members, elected officials, as your policymakers, can certainly, provide the direction and the big decisions. But we have to have a path and we have to move forward. Just like any type of a private sector company, you have to have a plan, you have to have goals, you have to have a vision of what the future is. And the plan that we are trying to create, and hopefully we'll do so with all of your input, is we want to have a future for the city that the residents desire, that the businesses desire, and then let the professional staff figure out what are the steps or the initiatives to take us there. So I'm very excited that all of you chose to take time out to participate in this. I know the consultant is going to walk us through a lot of exercises, and I understand we have a very cool polling type of tool where we can see your priorities as well and incorporate it into the plan. I'm going to remain on the phone as long as I can. I do have an 8 o'clock call that I do nightly with the other mayors of Orange County to try to brainstorm on different ways for, the pandemic and things that we can try to improve the lives of our residents and businesses when so many are suffering hardship. So I apologize in advance, but at 8 o'clock I will have to depart for another conference call, but I'm here for the next hour. If we do get to the Q&A session, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. If we don't make it that far, I know staff will collect some new questions, and I will sit down and I will respond to them at a future time. But once again, thank you so much for participating in it. It's really important for our city to have a guiding plan, and that's the point of this exercise. With that, I am going to turn you over to the very capable hands of our consultant.
So, Christine, I'm sorry, Christine, this is Margarita Macedonio with the city's Neighborhood Initiatives Program. And I just wanted to add, before we defer to Lorna for the presentation, we just wanted to recognize the Comlink board. We have their photo here of the board members, and we just wanted to recognize Peter Katz, who is the president of Comlink, and Carl Benninger, the vice president, Evangeline Goronsky, the secretary. We have Irma Macias, George Collins, Terry McCall, and Leon Jacobs as the board members. So thank you so much for working with us to be able to, have their virtual general meeting and be able to cover such a very important topic.
Thank you, Marguerite. And I apologize, Peter. You guys have been instrumental in helping the city with passing out communication information and being such a strategic partner. So thank you so much for helping us do this venue. And it's interesting in these times to be able to do meetings in this regard. And I think maybe if I saw you sitting in front of me, I certainly would not have forgotten to acknowledge you. But you guys are a great partner for our city, and we are lucky to have so many individuals that are dedicated to the future of Santa Ana and making it a great place for everybody to live, work, and play. So Thank you, Marguerite,
Okay.
and thank you, Comlink.
Awesome, thank you. And I have Peter Katz, the president, who would like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So Peter, if you are ready, we will unmute you so you can lead us in, and then we'll go to have our consultant present. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay. Okay, you know, the Pledge of Allegiance was made in 1892 by Francis Bellamy and was amended in 1954 to the current Pledge of Allegiance. And I want everybody to, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands for,
One nation.
and it,
Under
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Peter. So now
And
we're,
I would like to say, Margarita, that if we could just put out the numbers for the domestic violence hotline, and if people have problems at home with their children's domestic violence, child abuse, that the courts are open for restraining orders. We need to get that message out to the community.
thank you, Peter. Once we are done with the presentations, we have several important announcements, and the Santa Ana Family Justice Center is an important one, so we will definitely review that information. Thank you so much for the reminder. Okay.
And Margarita, one more announcement.
Peter, we would like to continue, if it's okay with you, because we have the city manager here until 8 o'clock, and we want to make sure we get to the important questions. So, all right, so let's continue with Lorna Shepherd. If you can proceed, Lorna, with the presentation you have.
Yeah, thank you so much, and it is such a pleasure to be here. The folks from the Santa Ana staff and council have been really terrific, and we are at that point where we want to hear from the community. So we're very excited to be here and be with you and have you here. In normal times, our original plan would have been to hold 3 or 4 public meetings where we could interact and do really cool exercises with sticky notes and talk a lot and brainstorm some cool ideas together, but we're going to do it this way. So we're going to not do all the talking. We will do a little bit of interactive activity, gaining your input, getting some of your suggestions and recommendations throughout the next, say 40 minutes. What you see on the slide in front of you are instructions for phoning in if you would like to. You don't have to share your recommendations and ideas. We have another way to do that. And then just below is how we are going to let you use your handy text app on your phone to respond to some of our questions and give your suggestions and ideas for what should the city be doing over the next 5 years. And I'm going to explain this a couple times, but this will be the first time, and we'll just keep trying. If you want to participate in polls that are coming up in a couple slides, you simply open up your text app on your phone, dial 22333, and then type in SANA081 and send it to that phone number, and then you'll get a message back that says you are in the poll and you're ready to go. And then from this point on, anytime we ask you a question and ask for your text answers or suggestions, you just have to type in your answers. Really easy. We'll go through that one more time, maybe even 2 more times, just to make sure it's feeling like it's going to work. So if you could go to the next slide, please, Daisy, that'd be awesome. So we did have Christine Ridge, the city manager, kick us off, and I have to say she's backed by a team of consummate, hardworking professionals that we've been working with. And I'm a senior strategist at a company called On Strategy, and we have worked with all sorts of public entities and counties in California and, frankly, in other states. We also work with for-profit organizations, and our expertise is in strategic planning, and Christine and her great team are the experts in city management. So together we have been coming up with a plan, and our timing is very good because we have not finished the plan. We just have some preliminary ideas to which community input is the critical step at this moment. So next slide. Today, what we want to try to do with this new technology and our tools that we're going to make the most of is give you a little bit of background about what we're up to, where are we in the process, why are we doing this. I really appreciate that Christine covered that in detail. We're going to reach out to you to help us set the vision for Santa Ana in 5 years. What do we want to be in 5 years? We would like to hear from you. And then we want to talk to you about some preliminary strategic priorities that the council, elected officials, and the executive management team and Christine have drafted that we would like to hear your responses to. And then we will definitely open it up for Q&A. So for a couple of slides, we're just going to be a bit structured about how we get your feedback. And then we'll open it up for some questions and answers. And hopefully we'll get back to that point where Christine can stick around for a few minutes. Okay, so Christine mentioned this in the next slide, please, why we're here. And there are all sorts of reasons to have a strategic plan. I bet you some of your organizations actually have them as well. First and foremost, it is a part of the ordinance for Santa Ana to have a 5-year strategic plan, so we're complying with that. But we also realize that it's very important to hear from residents on what's important for the next 5 years. And, what we think about today is different than what we thought about a month ago, but we are planning for the long term, not just for the next 6 months. Okay, next slide, please. So where are we in the process? We're kind of smack dab in the middle. Starting in January, we were, the city put out proposals, and we responded. We were very excited to respond, and we were chosen and started early March. And we jumped into interviewing the council members one-on-one, and we asked them all sorts of very deep and complicated questions to get their guidance as representatives of their constituents. And then in April, we began working deeply with the staff to identify what the preliminary priorities and goals might be for the city. And this is where we are today, is the citizen workshop. So we've come up with some preliminary framework for the plan and some ideas, but we want to hear your feedback. And in fact, tomorrow we have another planning session with the executive management team where we're going to take your feedback and incorporate it into the plan. We have a fast timeline. Next month, we owe a draft 5-year strategic plan to the city council, or a plan anyway, and they are, we hope will approve it in May, and then starting in July, when the new fiscal year for the city starts, is when we start focusing, or the staff start focusing on implementing annual initiatives to achieve some goals that we are going to define. So the timing is really good for your input. You're going to give all sorts of input and suggestions on via polls and via text message today. At the end of the presentation, we will share a website that you can go to if you want to take an online survey to answer similar questions. You hopefully will see the plan and feel like your contribution is reflected. Okay, next slide. So I'm going to do this one more time just because I know, we're all dealing with new technologies these days. So throughout this presentation, we want to hear for your ideas and recommendations. So in order for us to be able to hear from you, we're going to rely on your text messages. So if you haven't already, please open your text app on your phone. If you dial 22333 and then type and send the funny word SANA081 and hit send, you should get a response confirming that you've joined the session. And then throughout the presentation, we'll simply prompt you to text your answers. And you don't have to re-enter SANA081 for each poll. Okay, so I think we should do a test run. So if we were to go to the next slide, In the bottom, and highlighted in yellow, you can see my request. Can you please type the name of the neighborhood association you represent or where you live in Santa Ana? That would be awesome. So take a minute and text where you live or the association you represent, please. And if you could text that, that would be awesome on your phone to 22333. Could you go to the next slide, please? So, as you can see, we have people from the different parts of the city, which is awesome. Walnut Neighborhood, Walnut Association, a couple people, Riverview West, downtown, a couple people from downtown. That's fantastic. So we'll just give it a minute to see who's on the phone and what neighbors are participating today. Fantastic. So don't worry if what you texted hasn't shown up yet. We capture it. It's just taking a little time to roll on the slide. But you can see we have quite a distribution of residents from pretty much all over the city, it looks like. Great. So, and I think that this must mean that the text poll is working for a lot of you, I hope. Great. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. You can keep texting your answer if you like, but I think we're pretty good there. We've captured most of them, even though they're rolling in slowly on the slide. Okay, so this is the hard work that we want your help with. You know, the vision is really what defines the future state for the city. What does success look like for Santa Ana, in other words? So if you were to go to the next slide, please. We want to know your vision of success. So if you could answer how you would complete this thought. In 2025, Santa Ana is, and we want to hear from you, so text your answer, short or long, please, to 22333. And if you want to pop to the next slide, please. So this is one of those famous word clouds, which are really fun. So we are capturing all of the words, even if you type the full sentence. So don't worry if it doesn't show up. What this does is it makes the bigger text note what words more of us are typing. So a lot of you want to see thriving and safe communities. Affordable housing is very commonly mentioned. We want to be a well-known city, so this is awesome. Nice work. Yep, that looks like a pretty ideal city. Nice. This is great. So, of course, we're capturing all of the visions of success for Santa Ana, what you want the future to be like, and these are just some of the key words. Fantastic. Really fun. Nice. Okay. I think we'll move on to the next question. It's kind of cool to watch, though, actually. Okay. So our next question is, well, how are we going to achieve that vision? You know, what would be our priorities to guide our focus? And we need to decide what the next 5 years' focus are going to be. We'd love to do everything and anything, wouldn't we all? But we know by setting a little bit of focus, I think Christine's example of the fence post is great, is what's going to define what we focus on so that we can achieve that vision of that Santa Ana we want to see in 2025. So the next slide, we're just going to share with you what the preliminary priorities are, what we recommend based on the council interviews and all the work that the EMT, the senior staff at the city have taken on. So this is the build slides. You are going to have to click, Daisy. Sorry. Cool. Thank you. So the first priority, and these aren't in priority order, they're just all 5 very important priorities, is financial stability. We think we want to protect and enhance revenue streams while maintaining a healthy budget reserve to provide for the expenditure of funds in support of the long-term priorities of the city's strategic plan. So we want to make sure we have the money and the reserve to support the next 4 priorities. The next priority is community safety. We want to make sure that we're providing a safe environment for residents and visitors while reducing crime and fully addressing the impacts of homelessness on our quality of life. And then the next priority, please. We want to ensure that our public facilities and infrastructure are maintained and preserved. So city facilities and roadways are better maintained and also preserved so that we can better serve the population and its visitors. The next priority that we would recommend is that for city services, we want to streamline the methods of providing services to help ensure doing business with the city is easier and more efficient. And then the final priority, that we came to with the council and staff's recommendations was economic diversification and expansion. So we want to enhance the economic vitality of the city by growing revenue streams, attracting quality jobs, and diverse businesses and desired amenities for residents. So these are 5 priorities that we came up with. We would like to know from you if you have any other recommended priorities. So on the next slide. Thank you. You can text your additional recommended priorities. Is there something we've missed? Is there something that you really want us to consider as one of the pillars or the frame of our strategic plan for the next 5 years? Please text any additional recommended priorities to 22333. And we can go to the next slide and we can see what other priorities are being recommended. So community events, youth, 5-year strategic youth plan. Okay, got it. What are we going to do about climate? Interesting, yeah. Okay, a lot of people mentioning youth programming or planning, youth strategic plan. Yep. So a couple people talking about environmental, climate type of topics. Yep. Definitely seen some mentions about housing and affordability. This is a big one, so we'll just stay on this slide for another moment. If you guys can just bear with us so that everybody can see what we get to see. Yeah, community and police relationships. Yep. Okay, keep them coming. Whatever priorities you recommend are part of our strategic plan. We want to know your recommendations. So a couple of people have been mentioning community participation and engagement, which is great. I mean, based on your participation tonight, on this Thursday night, it's pretty good. More is always better. Okay, if you want to text in your last few recommended priorities or suggestions, that would be great. They will keep coming. Even though you typed and maybe you didn't see it on the slide, we do capture it. I guarantee you that. Great. Okay, so let's go do some nitty-gritty work. This is going to be the next slide, please. Okay, so you remember this one, we just read it, financial stability. By 2025, we want to be in a position where we're protecting and enhancing revenue streams while maintaining a healthy budget reserve to provide for the expenditure of funds in support of long-term priorities of the city's strategic plan. So our question to you is, if you wouldn't mind clicking, Daisy, advancing the screen, please, is from where we are now to where we want the city to be in 2025 when it comes to financial stability, what do you think the council and city staff should do? Should they, A, keep doing what they've been doing, B, do some more than what they've been doing, C, do considerably more than what they've been doing, or maybe you're not sure, D. Would you just please text A or B or C or D to 22333. So you're choosing one, A, keep doing what they've been doing, B, do some more, C, do considerably more, or really you're not sure, D. You just want to keep that slide up for a minute. We'll just let people see what the possible answers are so they can remember while they're texting. So what we're doing here is we're trying to get your input on how much effort, how much energy should we be putting against financial stability? Okay, let's just stick on this slide for a minute more so people are really clear on what the choices are that you're texting in. A, B, C, or D. You have to pick one, please. So maybe we can go to the answer. Let's go to the next slide and see what's going on. So a lot of you are not sure, but that's cool. Oh no, here we go. So based on your answers, looks like most of you feel like we should be doing considerably more than what the council and the staff have been doing. Okay, we'll just give it a minute to let answers populate. So this is based on all answers. So that's every time somebody answers, the percentages change. That's the magic of math. So we'll just give it a minute and see where everybody's answers are. Hopefully you're just answering once. So right now we're seeing how the bars move around a bit. Okay. I think we might have landed. So, you know, the largest percent of you do feel like we should be doing considerably more than what the city and the staff have been doing around financial stability, right? So that just gives us a temperature for effort. As long as those percentages don't do a lot of changing, we'll give it a second or two. Let's stay on this slide, and then when we're feeling pretty good that we've captured everybody's answers, we will move on. Okay. All right. So when you think about financial stability, we want to know, what do you recommend the city and council, city staff and council do to achieve financial stability? What are the 2 or 3 things or one thing that you really think we have to do to achieve financial stability? Please text your recommendation to 22333. So you're recommending what actions we should take, initiatives we should take, changes we should make to achieve financial stability. If you want to go to the next slide, Daisy, please. Okay. Very specific suggestions and ideas, which is great, very helpful. The more specific, the better. So a little energy around more businesses, bringing in more businesses, right? Got it. I don't know if you guys are also hearing the background noise. I'm sure everybody is safe. So we just hope everybody's good. We're banging. Great. Okay, so we're getting a lot of feedback. You know, some are easy, some are hard. A lot of direction on what would achieve financial stability. Terrific. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestions. Even if you didn't see yours on the screen and you sent it via text, we will capture it, I promise. You know, technology only works as fast as the wires can carry this stuff. So terrific input, seeing a lot of themes about businesses and affordable housing and some feedback about police. We hear you. Got it. Terrific. Okay. Okay, so your suggestions have come in. Thank you. They're just loading slowly. If you texted an answer, you didn't see it, we got it. I promise. Okay. Let's move on to the next priority, I think. Great. So this is community safety, not a small deal. We want to provide a safe environment for residents and visitors while reducing crime and fully addressing the impacts of homelessness on our quality of life. So, same drill. So, if you wouldn't mind advancing the slide, please. Can you tell us whether you think the city staff and the city council should, A, keep doing what they've been doing, B, do some more than what they've been doing, do considerably more, C, or D, you're not sure. So please text your choice, A, B, C, or D. That would be great to 22333. So we'll just keep the instructions up here for a moment, make sure everybody knows what their choices are, A, B, C, or D. And then we'll go to the next slide and see what the community out there is saying about how much effort around community safety is needed. Thanks, Daisy. So, when it comes to community safety, what are we suggesting in terms of degree of shift in effort? It's just taking a minute to populate my graph. If you're not seeing your answer, there we go. Okay. So as we roll through the results, it looks like a lot of you feel like there needs to be considerably more done around community safety. If you haven't texted your answer, please do. Okay. Let's move on to your recommendations for what we should do for around community safety, please. So, similar question, right? But it's about community safety. If we want to provide that safe environment for residents and visitors and reduce crime and addressing the impact of homelessness, what do you recommend the city staff and the council do to achieve this? So if you have a recommended action, program, effort, initiative, please text it to 22333. And we can go to the next slide and see what people's answers are. Okay, so there's definitely some feedback about response time, feedback about homelessness, and, you know, crime associated with it. Yep. Lots of things about response time. Got it. Some talk about youth activities, giving them an outlet, something to do. Yep. Good stuff. Okay, if you want to wrap up your suggestions for achieving community safety, that'd be great. Even if you didn't see them on the screen, we have captured them. If you hit send on your text app, we got your message. Thank you. Okay, go to the next priority. Okay, so public facilities and infrastructure. Where we want to be in 2025, we want to be ensuring maintenance and preservation of city facilities and roadways to better serve the population and visitors. So you guys are starting to know the drill, right? Getting to be habit. So if you advance the slide, please. We want to know from where we are now to where we would like to be in 2025 when it comes to facilities and infrastructure. Does the city staff and council need to A, keep doing what they've been doing, B, do some more, C, do considerably more, or D, you're not sure? Let's advance to the next slide. I have a feeling that if we do that faster, we might kind of tango more quickly on the results. Okay, not super surprising given the many suggestions on what we should do around community safety, that you would recommend we do considerably more than what we've been doing, that you want to see a lot of effort around this. Yep, understood. Okay. Give it another 15 or 20 seconds to let people give their answers, please, and then, yeah, we can move on. Great. Okay, so you know the next question, right? So for public facilities and infrastructure, if you want to go to the next slide, Daisy, please. What do you recommend we do regarding facilities and infrastructure? If you would please text your recommendations to 22333. What would you like to see done when it comes to public facilities and infrastructure? So we can go to the next slide and start seeing what folks' answers and recommendations are on how to achieve our 2025 goal for public facilities and infrastructure. Okay, lots of comments about public space and open space, yep. Parking, we know parking is a challenge, yep. Bike lanes, that's great, yeah, that would be a great asset. Green streets, can somebody, whoever typed green streets, maybe you could explain what you mean by a green street. Type in a little bit more detail on your next text. So feedback about the roads. Roads and parking are definitely a thing. Lots of interest in, keeping those parks open, safe, available. Couple people suggested gardens. Okay. Yeah, definitely lots of interest in more parks and maintaining the parks, maybe even upgrading them, and parking, definitely an issue. Okay, super. These are really great specific recommendations. Thank you for your thoughts. And ideas are really specific and clear, which is great. Even when your text auto-corrects your spelling, no worries, we know exactly what you mean. Yeah, Great. Well, your thumbs are working. This is great. Okay, so even if you didn't see your text appear on the slide, we've captured it as long as you hit send. So we're going to wrap this up at this point. Okay. Cool. Okay. So, city services, where do we want to be in 2025? We want to see streamlining the methods of providing services to help ensure doing business with the city is easier and more efficient. So, you guys know the drill. If you advance the slide, Daisy, we want to know, does the city staff and council need to do A, keep doing what they've been doing, B, do some more, C, do considerably more, or D, you're just not sure? Please text your answer A, B, C, or D to 22333. If you want to advance to the next slide, please. We can see people's answers. Okay, well, you guys have a lot of expectations of city staff and council because you do answer that question C a lot, which is fine. So legit. At this point, it's looking like the largest percentage of you feel that the city council and city staff need to do considerably more than what they've been doing when it comes to city services, making them more easier to do business with the city, more efficient. Okay. Okay. Give it a minute, make sure everybody has a chance to weigh in on the poll. It's not an easy question, even though it seems like it. Okay. So I think you're saying we do not want to keep doing what we've been doing. We want to do some things differently or maybe really differently. So good guidance. Just give it another couple of seconds. Make sure everybody on Facebook Live and on YouTube has a minute to respond. Thanks so much for participating. Okay, so, majority of you are saying we need to do considerably more when it comes to city services. Got it. Big shift in effort is asked for. Understood. Okay, so what do you think? You know the next question, right? This is starting to look pretty consistent. The next question is for city services to streamline the methods and provide services to help ensure doing business with the city is easier and more efficient. What do you recommend the city and council does when it comes to city services? Could you please text your recommendations to 22333? How can they make doing business with the city easier? If you want to go to the next slide, Daisy, please, we can see what some of the answers are, which is always fun. Yeah, we had some help with some translation, which was fantastic. More online and phone services. We're doing that now, I bet. Like Christine said, we kind of had to. So we might not see some of that stuff go away. lots of guidance on multilingual or bilingual staff, Spanish and Vietnamese, especially. Yep. Yep. A couple of folks have said more community input. I hope you mean like this. Well, maybe we'll be able to do it in person soon, but looks like you guys do want to give more input. That's why you're here tonight. Fantastic. A couple of you have actually suggested internships or hiring youth, which is really clever. Very creative solutions. So a lot of you want more civic engagement. I think actually that was one of the city staff's, I guess, goals as well. they mentioned it too. They would love to see more residents engaged like you all have been. The language, the spoken word will not be in Spanish, but the written is in Spanish, and I think there is a Spanish version online. Okay, cool, great. All right, let's move on. Your text answers, even if they didn't appear on the screen, are collected. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Let's move on to the next priority and the last priority, I believe. Okay, economic diversification and expansion. In 2025, we want to enhance the economic vitality of Santa Ana by growing revenue streams, attracting quality jobs, diverse businesses, and desired amenities for residents. So tell us whether, if you wouldn't mind advancing the slide, please, tell us whether you think the city staff and council need to A, keep doing what they've been doing, do some more of what they've been doing, D, do considerably more than what they've been doing, or D, you're just not sure. Please text your answer to 22333, A, B, C, or D. If you wouldn't mind advancing the slide, we can capture everybody's answer. Okay, well, you guys are a tough crowd, very demanding, but it's good to see where you guys are landing. It looks like the majority of you actually feel like we should do considerably more than what we've been doing when it comes to diversification and expansion. So if you answered any of the above, but especially for those of you that answered C, we want to know, what do you recommend we should do? So let's move to the next slide. Okay, so if you have a recommendation on what the city staff and council should do to achieve economic diversification and expansion, we want to know. Text your recommendations to 22333, please. And we can go to the next slide and watch the answers roll in. So we were getting some of the old answers, that's fine. So your suggestions started rolling in with reaching out to big companies, bring tech companies in, support existing businesses. Yeah, let's make sure the existing businesses can thrive. More support small businesses. Yep, lots of encouragement to support these businesses that are here. Yep. I think you're also starting to see what we understand is that these priorities are interrelated. We have to deal with some of our homelessness and make sure the community is safe, to make it appealing for businesses, definitely. Lots of talk about supporting the local businesses, the businesses that are already in Santa Ana. Super. Okay. Let's keep them coming for another, 25 seconds or so. Certainly if you sent a text, we received it. Even if it didn't show up on the slide. Some comments about words 4 and 5. Yep. Excellent. Okay. So I think if you wouldn't mind sending in your last ideas for economic diversification and expansion, please, that would be fantastic. And if you sent it in a text, we've received it, even if it didn't appear on the screen. Okay. Nice. All right. Good ideas. Lots of them. Lots of diverse ideas. We hope we've heard from everybody. Before we close the day, we are going to give you a website address that you could visit if you wanted to give more input. So let's move on, please, Daisy. Okay, so our next steps are to finish the plan and create a draft and submit it to the council. That's happening in the next few weeks. So if you could go to the next slide, please, because I know we're running a little long. We want to make sure that if you have more feedback or questions, you know that you can email us at strategicplan@santaana.org. You can call and leave a voicemail. It will be picked up, 714-647-5733, or online survey. I know that's a hard URL. We'll just hang out on this slide so that if you want to write that down, the same questions we asked tonight are in the survey. If you feel like you want to give more input or you want to share this URL with friends who weren't able to join us on YouTube or Facebook Live, we would love to hear from them. It can also be found on the Santa Ana City website. Not hard to find. I think we're going to stop here. Tell me if I've got that right. I don't know if we have time for Q&A. I don't know how you guys want to handle that.
Yeah, I think in the interest of time, this is Margarita. We want to encourage communication with the city through email. So we have on the screen strategicplan@santa-ana.org. We also have a voicemail line if people want to leave messages or they want specific input that they did not have an opportunity to share tonight. We welcome phone calls to our strategic plan line, which is 714-647-5733. And we also have a page on the city's strategic plan, and there's a link. You see the link here, but there is also a link there that people can click on to take the survey. Let's say they did not have an opportunity to respond through their text messaging. We definitely have time. We have another week to capture people's responses, and we definitely want to make a push for that.
Super, thank you, Margarita. Yeah, and that URL, it can also be found on the City of Santa Ana website. Hey, thanks, everybody. You know, this is a new way of facilitating meetings for me. Appreciate everybody's really great ideas and your patience, and I think we got some great participation and some good ideas. And my job is to synthesize all your input and give it to the city staff to include and incorporate into the strategic plan that we are developing now.
Yes.
I hope everybody has a safe, good evening.
Thank you, Lorna. And I just have a couple of announcements that I wanted to share on behalf of the Board of Comlink and also on behalf of our Public Works staff. So announcement one is that next Thursday, April 30th at 7 p.m., the city's Public Works Agency will be hosting a virtual meeting similar to tonight's format. But specifically, they will focus on a presentation on the upcoming refuse cart rate adjustments. So they are going to be talking about that and taking questions, definitely encouraging participation to learn about the California mandates regarding refuse services and the adjustment calculations. So we will be sending out information on how to participate and connect with that virtual meeting. Again, it's Thursday, April 30th at 7 p.m. And we will be showing that virtual meeting on our Facebook Live and our YouTube Live and CTV3 outlets. And the last announcement, the Comlink Board President Peter Katz wanted us to remind people that we have a Santa Ana Family Justice Center. We have advocates who are able to take phone calls and help victims of domestic violence, child abuse, especially with this COVID-19 pandemic. So we just wanted to remind people that there is a main line to call, and that number is 714-245-8278. We also have a line for advocates just to find out about what assistance is available. And the advocates line is area code 657-210-1401. And we also have a specific email set up at familyjusticecenter@santa-ana.org in case you want to reach out to somebody. We will include this part of a recap and announcements. We will make sure that our email and phone calls reminding of future messages include this critical information. Once again, thank you to the board of Comlink. Thank you to our city manager, Christine Ridge. Thank you to our strategic plan consultant, Lorna Shepard, for sharing a lot of information. And most importantly, thank you for all who were able to connect through our different social media outlets, through listening to this phone call. We are improving as we go, and we will be having a Comlink general virtual meeting next month. So more details to come. Thank you, everyone. Have a safe and good night. Bye.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.